Hello friends. Today we are going to learn about Heckscher-Ohlin theory of international trade. In some of the previous lectures we have learned about absolute advantage and comparative advantage of international trade. Adam Smith explained the absolute advantage theory and that is one of the cause of emergence of trade. After Adam Smith, David Ricardo, who is one of the British economists, explained that not only absolute advantage but there is comparative advantage for both the nations, and that's why those nations start trading. And opportunity cost is the main reason behind comparative advantage for both of the nations. After Ricardo, Heckscher and Ohlin, these two Swedish economists first time explain that there are two factors of production and two commodities and two countries. With the help of two commodities, two countries, and two factors of production, he tried to explain what is the reason behind emergence of trade. Heckscher and Ohlin, both of these economists, used modern approach to explain the theory. That's why it is also known as modern theory of international trade. In this lecture, I would like to highlight introduction of Heckscher and Ohlin, other names of the theory, what is the statement of the theory, what are the different assumptions, what is the discussion related with labor intensive and capital intensive techniques used in the analysis of the theory, what are the features of this theory, and finally criticism points of Heckscher-Ohlin theory of international trade. Heckscher and Ohlin, these two Swedish economists, are known for the modern approach towards international trade. Eli Philipp Heckscher published an essay on the effects of foreign trade on the distribution of income. He explained modern theory in this essay. He was economic historian. Bertil Ohlin was his student. He expressed his views on trade through his book on interregional and international trade. As I said, there are different names for this theory. Heckscher-Ohlin's modern theory of trade, factor endowment theory, factor proportions theory, relative factor endowment theory, and it is also known as Heckscher-Ohlin theorem. According to Heckscher-Ohlin, country produces those commodities with the factor intensity in which those factors are available in abundance. Now see, previously we have seen that different factors, availability of factors leads to the comparative advantage. But even Ricardo has not explained that why there is comparative advantage. He explained that there is difference in opportunity cost, and because of opportunity cost, comparative advantage has been created. But Heckscher and Ohlin in this theory tried to emphasize that factor intensity and abundant factors are the main reasons behind emergence of international trade. They tried to explain that when countries are trading, they are using labor and capital, these two factors, and they must be exporting. If one country is exporting labor intensive commodity, then another country must be exporting labor intensive, sorry, capital intensive commodity. So in this way, country gets comparative advantage in the production of such commodity. For example, India, Taiwan, Korea produces labor-intensive commodities like cloths and leather products. Argentina, Australia, Canada produces wheat and flesh as they have abundant land for farming activity. Means according to the availability of resources, which is known as abundant of factor. It is nothing but natural gift. Okay. For example, many Arab countries which are exporting crude oil to the world. Now, those Arab countries are rich with fossil fuel. They have oil mines, or we can call oil wells, in abundance. And that's why they are able to export crude oil to other nations. So this is only because of natural gift. So Heckscher Ohlin said that according to the geographic conditions, climatic conditions, factor availability is different in different countries. So countries are using those factors, natural factors, with labor and capital. So it is said that the combination of these two factors is necessary. Now, these two important points in the Heckscher-Ohlin theorem are different combinations of units of factors are necessary to produce different goods, and different countries have difference in factor abundance. And this is the basic cause behind international trade. Assumptions of Heckscher-Ohlin's theory. There are two countries involved. Each country has two factors, labor and capital. Each country produces two commodities or goods. One is labor intensive and another one is capital intensive. There is perfect competition in both commodity and factor markets. All production functions are homogeneous of the first degree. That is, production function is subject to constant returns to scale. Constant returns to scale we have seen earlier also. Means if firm is increasing investment by 2%, output will also increase by 2%. It is constant returns to scale, and this situation will be same in both of the countries. Factors are freely mobile within a country but immobile between countries. Two countries differ in factor supply. This difference is only because of the availability of factors, because factor abundance is different in different countries. So obviously supply will be different. Then each commodity differs in factor intensity. The production functions remains the same as different countries for the same commodity. For example, if commodity A requires more capital in one country, then same is the case in another country. There is full employment of resources in both countries and demand are identical in both countries. Trade is free, there are no trade restrictions or trade barriers, and finally, there are no transportation costs. Now see, all these assumptions are similar to the previous theory. Only one difference is there, that Heckscher and Ohlin have assumed capital as another factor. In previous theories, there was only one factor of production assumed. Now in this theory, two factors of production, that is capital and labor, and that's why this modern theory model is known as 2 by 2 by 2 model. Two countries, two products, and two factors of production. Now here we will explain the concept of factor intensity with the help of table given. Heckscher and Ohlin has tried to explain the factor intensity with the help of capital labor ratio concept. Now what is factor intensity basically? Factor intensity means at what quantity factor has been used for the production of one unit of the commodity. If the quantity of factor is comparatively less, it suggests that the factor intensity is less for a certain product. Heckscher and Ohlin tried to explain the concept of capital intensive product and labor intensive product with the help of the concept of factor intensity. Basically, this theory is related with the factor intensity and factor abundance, because only availability of factor is not sufficient, but for the production process, at what quantity that country is using factors, or what is the intensity of factor use is also important. Now here I would like to explain this table. In this table, inputs used per unit of production are given: production of cloth and production of steel. Now inputs of what? Inputs of capital and labor, because these are two factors of production. These are inputs for the production of cloth and steel as assumed in the theory. Now In case of cloth production, 1 unit of cloth can be produced with the help of 2 units of capital and 6 units of labor. It means cloth, for the production of cloth, more labor has been utilized, while in case of steel production, for the production of 1 unit of steel, 4 units of capital and 8 units of labor has been used. Now, this can be explained, factory intensity can be explained with the help of capital labor ratio. Means here, for the production of cloth, if 1 unit of capital is used, with the 1 unit of capital, there are 3 units of labor. So 1 raised to 3. And in case of steel production, for 1 unit of capital, 2 units of labor has been used, 1 raised to 2. It means that cloth requires more units of labor in combination with the capital, and steel requires less units of labor in combination with the capital. It means there is combination of capital and labor. Okay, but at the same time, while using capital, at what quantity labor has been utilized is important, and it is known as factor intensity. So the intensity of labor factor is more in the production of cloth than steel, and that's why it is said that cloth is more labor intensive product and steel is more capital intensive product. Now, use of labor is more intense in the production of cloth. Capital labor ratio in the production of cloth is 1 raised to 3. It means 1 unit of capital and 3 units of labor are being used in the production of cloth, while use of capital is more intense in the production of steel. So, capital labor ratio in the production of steel is 1 raised to 2. It means 1 unit of capital and 2 units of labor are being used in the production of steel, and that's why Heckscher Ohlin in his example says that cloth is labor intensive product and steel is capital intensive product or good. So factor intensity is a relative concept like comparative advantage. Now what do you mean by relative concept? It means we are comparing the production of steel within the two countries. We are comparing production of cloth within the two countries, and that's why it is a relative concept. If the reference changes, the nature of the factor abundance changes, this intensity will change. Now, the second important thing in this theory, the concept of factor abundance. Factor abundance is based on the natural endowment. Endowment is nothing but a gift. There are two concepts related with it. First, physical abundance, and second, economic abundance. Now, what is physical abundance? It is based on the comparison of physical quantity of factors of production between two countries. It is related with the supply only. And economic abundance is based on the wage rate and profit comparison in equilibrium situation among two countries. It is related with the demand and supply, and that's why economic abundance is more important. Now, with the help of factor abundance and factor intensity, Heckscher and Ohlin has tried to define a capital rich country. How to define it? A formula is given here. Remuneration for capital in country 1 divided by remuneration for labor in country 1 is less than the remuneration for capital in country 2 divided by remuneration for labor in country 2. In this way, we can say that if the remuneration for capital or the payment for capital or reward for capital is less, then automatically we can say that the country is rich with capital. If the payment for capital is higher, then it means that capital is costly in that country. So obviously that country will not use capital intensive technique in the production. So Heckscher and Ohlin has tried to define what is the capital rich country and what is the labor rich country. Now here in this circular diagram I have tried to explain what is the situation of import and export when trade emerges between two countries. Now here at right side, country with labor intensity has shown which produces uh, labor intensive goods and export labor intensive goods to the country with capital intensity. Here country with capital intensity exports capital intensive goods to country with labor intensity. In this way flow starts. Same like that, country with labor intensity will import labor intensive goods from country with capital intensity, and country with capital intensity will import capital intensive goods from country with labor intensity. So in this way import and export process will start, and this is what flow of international trade. Heckscher and Ohlin has tried to explain this flow of international trade with the help of labor and capital intensity concepts. Once it is defined that the country is rich with capital or the country is rich with labor, so country will start to specialize in the in that type of production, and that type of production will be circulated, will be exported to the rest of the world. So this is the basic logic behind Heckscher Ohlin's modern theory of trade. Finally, I would like to highlight limitations of Heckscher-Ohlin theory, which are known as criticism point of this theory. First is Leontief paradox. Now, what is this paradox? Actually, Vasily Leontief was one of the statistician, and he prepared input-output table for the industries in United States of America. When he used input-output table as one of the statistical tool, he came to know that USA, having rich with capital, is exporting more and more labor intensive goods and importing more and more capital intensive goods. Actually, his observations were criticized by many economists. So again he collected 50 years data from different industries. He categorized those industries and made column of input and output. With the help of input and output table, he again observed that the capital rich country is exporting labor intensive good and labor rich country is exporting capital intensive good. Now, this situation is paradoxical situation, and this paradox is known as Leontief paradox, and it was proved after some years. There are many reasons behind this Leontief paradox, because one of the reason behind it is what, when a specific type of factor has been used again and again, the price of that factor increases, demand for such factor increases, and it becomes costly in respective nation. So there is possibility that country may change the production pattern. Second criticism point is this theory is failed to use general equilibrium concept. This theory has not used general equilibrium, but it has also used partial equilibrium analysis. Then country this theory has neglected product differentiation. There is possibility of differences in product, quality of product, but such type of difference has not been discussed here. This theory has neglected factor demand, because factor demand is also important part. Even though factor is abundantly available, there is possibility that it is not in demand. So this is also one of the possibility, but this possibility has been neglected. Then unrealistic assumption of immobility of factors. This is also criticism point which should be considered important in modern era because nowadays factors are mobile from one country to another, and if there is a mobility of factors, it affects on the total cost of production. There are other factors leading to trade like economies of scale, external economies. These factors have not been considered by the Heckscher-Ohlin in the theory. So finally, here I would like to summarize that Heckscher and Ohlin, these two Swedish economists, explained the modern approach towards international trade in which they have emphasized on the factor intensity and factor abundance. With the help of factor intensity, they have tried to explain what is capital rich country and what is labor rich country, and how capital rich country will export capital intensive product and how labor rich country will export labor intensive product. In this way, first time Heckscher and Ohlin tried to explain the approach towards international trade with the help of two factors of production, and this was a new concept in the international trade theory on the background of classical theories of trade, and that's why it is known as modern theory of trade. Now, in the next lecture, I would like to explain when trade begins, what are the gains from trade, and how to measure those gains, what is terms of trade, how it is related with the benefit of the nation. So, in the next lecture, I would like to discuss these things. For today, I will stop here. Thank you.